Okay, guys, the first sample that we're going to get into is called When My Soul Met a Thug, a standalone novel. The author's name is Jessica N. Watkins. Jacoby Diem and Lacey Laurel are the narrators for this story. And this is an urban fiction novel. So without any further delay, I'm going to play with my makeup and attempt to have this eye done by the time the sample ends. Let's go.
Always been difficult, ever since I met her at the Italian Fiesta on Lake Park a few months ago. And that she was divorcing her husband. I thought she was going to be one of those chicks that wanted to be wifed since she was used to having a husband. But that was the last thing on her mind. Never had a woman act like a man before. Only wanting sex and nothing more. That. I wasn't trying to fall in love with anybody. My love was the game. My side chick was money. I had no emotions for anything more. How to feel. No one had taught me how. I had no parents and no family. I definitely didn't have any kids. Purposely always strapped up because the last thing I wanted to do was put a kid in the position that I had been raised in. If I couldn't promise a kid a home with two loving parents, I didn't want to have any. Raised by group homes and negligent foster parents that never kept me long enough to teach me anything. I didn't love. I didn't care. My only family and friend was my right-hand man, Rakeem, who had forced his friendship on me in the streets when we were teenagers. But he was all I had.
Oh, that was it? Oh, man. I wish you would have given us more. That was really short sample, and it didn't really give us a taste of any. It didn't really give us a inside look of what she has to offer. But you guys, check it out. If the audio book version is not flowing smoothly enough, she has the paperback and the ebook version available. Once again, that was titled When My Soul Met a Thug by Jessica N. Watkins. If you're into fiction novels, you guys check this one out. I'll be right back. I want to go and fetch the next sample so that we can get into that. Maybe they're going to give us a little bit more to go on. Did you miss me? I'm back with the second audio sample of the day. This next book is titled Goodbye A672E92 Quintus. The author of this book is Laurel Rockefeller. The book is narrated by Ashley Hodson. And this is a hybrid, it's a cross between sci-fi and sci-fi romance. So let's check this book out. I'm going to attempt to finish up this eye by the end of this audio. Let's see what's going on here.
Ed and Miriam walked along the pathways radiating out of the main temple entrance. On the south side of the grounds gathered a dozen archers from House Kashmiri. As the ladies arrived, the mistress of the lists paused the current round so the ladies could cross safely. Miriam sat down, her arm came down, the signal for fire when ready. To Miriam and Brigid stood Lord Malvin, his eyes stern and body tense with concentration as he fired the next volley. This time, without the aggravation of the conference to distract him, his arrow landed clear and true in the heart of the bullseye. A perfect score. Brigid tried to relax and simply watch him at his best. For his part, kept his eyes and concentration on the task at hand, intentionally avoiding the spectators. This was more than just about archery for show to him. It was about retaining control over House Ballister and ensuring that his agenda of preparation for evacuation was fully carried out. As the mistress of the lists declared the round over and for a brief recess while the judges tallied the scores, Malvin lowered his bow and looked around, his eyes meeting Brigid's for the first time in 5 years. Down his bow and walked over to Brigid and Miriam, bowing as he reached them. "How do you like the tournament, my ladies?" "You shoot better when Lord Horatio is not grinding your nerves," smiled Brigid, trying to avoid his eyes. "It's been 5 years. I'm surprised you remember, Lady Brigid." "I remember more than you think," countered Brigid. Why then avoid me? I do not want my visions to come true, Malvin. It is nothing personal, replied Brigid coolly. Nothing
All right, we're gonna stop there. I don't want to play too much of the audio samples. I want to save the best parts for you guys to purchase your copy of the book and find out, if you like what's going on. I think I did pretty good with this eye. I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to just practice step by step. Meanwhile, if you guys like what you heard, or if the audio book, again, is not flowing smoothly enough, the book is available in multiple formats. And as always, I'm going to leave the link to the book in the comments section so that you guys can grab you can check it out. If you're into sci-fi or sci-fi romance, this is the book for you. All right, I'm going to take another break. I'll be right back as I grab the next sample. This next sample is titled The Kid. The author's name is Will Nussel or Will Nussel. Don't quote me on the pronunciation of his name. The book is also narrated by the same author, Will. He narrated his own book. And the genre, this is a coming of age baseball story. So I'm guessing that this is written for the young adult audience, the YA audience. So if you have teenagers, or if you are a teenager, or you're looking for a good book to get into, check this one out.
Well, don't just stand there, kid. Come on up to home plate. We won't keep your miraculous talent hiding any longer. Jason stood in his place next to home plate and wondered how this was going to go. He didn't wait long. The manager of the Boston Braves looked straight at him. Kid, I don't much like you, and I don't like that you're here today. But my boss says you get a chance, so here it is. He looked the boy straight in the eyes. Bud's going to throw 7 pitches at you. Hit 5 of them, and you could stay. Behind him, Jason heard whispers and shocked laughter making their way through the rest of the players. He himself didn't say anything or change his expression, but he understood exactly what was going on. Dennis G. was giving him a chance without giving him a chance. As far as statistics went, an average of 300 made somebody in baseball a pretty fair hitter. But for him to hit 5 out of 7 pitches, Jason would have to average more than twice that, and against the big star, the fast, tricky Bud Triplehorn himself. As far as chances went, DG might as well have been asking Jason to hit a ball to Chicago, or the moon. It was almost impossible. Almost.
Nothing is impossible.
Jason closed his eyes, breathed deeply, and concentrated on almost. To hit a ball to the moon was, of course, impossible. To average 700 for an entire season was equally impossible. But to hit 5 of 7 pitches, he only needed a miracle. So for just a moment, Jason Stiller stepped away from the plate, turned away from everyone, and looked out at the sun falling towards the west. His prayer was quiet. God, help me out just this once, and I'll leave you be. I'll never beg for anything again. Just this once. That's all I ask. Then he touched the bill of his cap and turned back to his task. DG called. We gonna do this or what? It's gonna get dark soon, Mr. Stiller.
Don't rush in.
I need a catcher. Behind you, kid. Understanding the gravity of the situation, the Braves' best catcher and the one black man on the team, Sammy Washington, had already grabbed his mask and chest protector. Now he squatted in his accustomed spot behind the plate. All right, son, you got your catcher. We ready now? No. When DG started to look exasperated again, Jason kept talking. I need an umpire, wouldn't you say? His tone had a bit of an edge to it, and the players all wondered if their manager was going to lose the temper he'd been working on keeping for the past 15 minutes. But DG was at heart a fair man. Yeah, I guess you do. Fine, I'll ump you. Wait a minute. The proper gear was found and passed to him, and he stood behind Sammy as all three looked out towards Bud. For a moment, Jason wondered why Robert Germain hadn't spoken up, hadn't put a stop to this. But a quick look showed a man with a poker face, keeping quiet and impassive. Apparently the owner of the Braves, at least, thought that he might pull off a miracle. He wasn't putting a stop to anything. Jason needed something to lighten the situation, if only slightly. Some joke that would help him relax and remember that he really was good enough. That he really could do this. While Bud was still preparing himself for battle, Jason turned to look down at Sammy. Is there any chance I can pull this off?
Yes.
Samuel Washington was not cool, but neither was he a liar. Not in a million years, kid. Sorry. Then the newcomer, the young man who had just been ordered to do the impossible, grinned. You got a 10 spot that says so? And it was such a strange time and place to be making such a strange bet that Sammy had to grin himself, his white teeth markedly contrasting his dark features. $10? I suppose I could come up with that. You got yourself a bet. Still grinning, Jason shifted the ball to his left hand and stuck out his right. Jason Stiller. Samuel Washington. Guys on the team, call me Sammy. Good to meet you, Sammy. Taking a deep breath, Jason found the calm he needed. It was just another turn behind home plate, and he knew he was good enough. 5 of 7, wasn't it? DG laughed shortly behind him. That's all I'm asking, Mr. Stiller. Righto. As he turned towards his opponent, both he and Bud ready for the fight, a quiet voice from behind and below him spoke up. For what it's worth, help you make it, kid. Jason's voice was just as quiet. Me too. Across the distance that separated them, Stiller's eyes met triple horns. And the contest had begun.
I think Jason's gonna blow him out the wall. I think he's gonna blow it out. He's gonna be the star of this book. I can tell right now. The one that's always overlooked and doubted is always the one to make who breaks barriers. Those are the ones that make things happen. Okay, so this book sounds like it's going to be a good read for the YA audience, and not only that, but the author is a really good narrator. I love the tone of his voice. He's very smooth with it. I love the way it sounds. Just the story, his voice, the flow of it, the pace that he's reading the story. It makes me want to keep listening to the book. And I'm not even into young adult books. But this one right here, I wouldn't mind listening to the rest of this. Again, you guys, that was The Kid. It's a coming-of-age baseball story written and narrated by Will Nussel. You guys know the link is going to be in the comment section below. So if you have anyone who's an avid reader, any bookworms that you know of the young adult audience, have them check this book out. You guys, thank you for checking in with me. The last book is on its way, and then we'll be done here for the day, and I'm going to head over to my YouTube channel after this last book is played. See you in a minute. Peace. Hey, I'm back with the last sample for my YouTube channel for today. You guys, I apologize that some of these audio samples are starting like in the middle of nowhere. I believe that the artists are able to choose where to start their samples, and they're not considering the fact that when a sample starts, it's just starting off like bam, and people, are not grasping onto what's happening right away. So you will have to listen for a few seconds before you catch on to what's going on. But hopefully you like what you hear. So the next sample is titled The Haunting of LaQuisha Brown. FYI, I already read this book, and I have reviewed this book on my channel and gave it, I believe, 5 superstars. It's a great read, you guys. I'm telling you, if you're into, I would call this a cross between urban fiction and paranormal. If you're into that type of stuff, you want to check this book out. I'm going to do this eye as this sample plays, and I want to see if she gives me enough time to get this eye finished, okay? So here we go, guys. The Haunting of LaQuisha Brown. The author of this book, her name is Akita Clay Shepard. The book is narrated by Yvette Lee. And once again, this is an urban fiction book, but I would call it a hybrid between urban fiction and the paranormal. So here we go.
Dolls in my room when I heard my parents yelling. I quietly tiptoed out of my room and peeked carefully around the corner. You're only saying that because you ain't got to pay for nothing, Daddy fired back. I'm the one that's got to pay for everything out of my pocket. I pay all the bills in this house. The rent, the car note, everything. You ain't helped out with much of nothing since LaQuisha was a little baby. If you want to show off for all your little fake family and so-called friends, go get you a job and pay for it yourself. But Carl, begged Mama. But nothing, Belinda, Daddy interrupted angrily. I'm sick and tired of working overtime to take care of this family and your friends when you don't do nothing but sit on your behind all day and play on your phone, Daddy added, as he glared towards the kitchen. You can't even say you take care of LaQuisha during the day because she's at school. Carl, you know I hurt my back when I was pregnant, and I can't stand up for long periods of time, answered Mama. I've been trying and trying to get Social Security, but they won't give it to me. Auntie Mika had been in the kitchen making herself a sandwich when she heard Mama and Daddy arguing. I was now on my knees, quietly eavesdropping on their conversation. Auntie Mika put down her plate, wiped the mayonnaise off her mouth with a napkin, and joined my parents in the living room. Hey y'all, Auntie Mika exclaimed happily, acting as if though she didn't hear my parents arguing from the kitchen. What are y'all planning on doing for Quisha's birthday? She asked. Mama and Daddy just glared at each other and looked away. I've been thinking about Quisha's birthday this year, she said. Silence. Well, continued Auntie Mika cheerfully, since I'm her godmother, and you guys have let me stay here for the past few weeks until I can get back on my feet, how about I take care of all the food for her party with my stamps and whatever else y'all need, Tamika interjected. It's the least I can do. Mama and Daddy looked at each other, then at Auntie Mika, then back at each other. What do you think about that, Carl? Mama asked softly. Is it okay if Tamika pays for LaQuisha's birthday party? Whatever, said Daddy, shaking his head. I'm getting sick of this. I'm tired of paying for all your credit card bills and student loans and for your hair and nails and your designer clothes and shoes and all the junk you bring into this house. You live like you make $1 million and you don't even make a dime. Go get a job, Belinda, Daddy growled. Then he stormed into my parents' room and slammed the door. That night, my daddy didn't sleep in the bedroom with Mama. He slept in the living room on the couch. In the middle of the night, when I went to the bathroom, I heard my daddy and Tamika whispering. After I finished in the bathroom, I quietly peeked into the living room. I saw Tamika sitting on one end of the couch. Daddy was sitting at the other end of the couch, watching television. The little lamp was on. Tamika had on a short, hot pink silk nightie with matching fluffy, hot pink slippers. Her hair wasn't covered in a bonnet like it usually was when she talked to Mama. She wore a cute, shoulder-length wet and wavy lace front wig that looked like her real hair. I noticed Tamika's shiny lips, pretty teeth, and freshly manicured nails covered with hot pink nail polish. At times, she and Daddy giggled softly. I tried to listen to their conversation, but I couldn't hear much. The only word I could make out was my mother's name, Belinda. After that, Tamika started acting different. She put on makeup and lip gloss and eyelashes every day, even when she wasn't going anywhere. She also started dressing sexy. She would walk around the house with real tight short shorts and skirts on with different mini shirts that showed her flat stomach and her belly ring.
Now that sample, I like all the samples, but this one gives you a little bit more to go on. We see that it's the drama is about to unfold. And like I said before, I have already read this book, and I will recommend it for you to check it out. The Haunting of LaQuisha Brown, honey. You will not be disappointed. This is a really good read. Okay, guys, now I'm going to check out one last time. I'm going to finish my makeup up. And then I'm going to go over and head to my YouTube channel. To my Facebook group to complete the rest of my Mental Massage Mondays. You guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, the link to these books will be in the comments section below. There's multiple formatting for these books. It's not just audiobooks. So maybe the audio version for some of these books were not catching your attention. But don't let that defer you from checking out, because it may be a good book. The author just started the sample off in a weird space. So check out these books, you guys. And I'll see you guys next Monday right back here for Mental Massage Mondays. If you have a book that you want to submit to me for me to play on my channel just to get you some free exposure, send your samples to my email address at socialmediumpublications@gmail.com. I will also add that link to my email address in the comment section below. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been your girl, Anita Tequila.